Welcome to the Author's Corner Review, brought to you by KNEO Radio 91.7 FM. I'm Roberta Foster, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some nonfiction books that deal with a wide range of emotions. We're going to be talking about joy, grief, heartbreak, resentment, and hope, and God's presence. And so all of these wonderful books coming your way. The first one I'm sharing with you is a brand new book by Chip Ingram called I Choose Joy. Change Your Perspective, Change Your Life. Published by Moody Publishers. Joy is the serious business of heaven, says C.S. Lewis. Life can be incredibly painful. There's just no way around it. But what if joy is our lifeline and strength through life's pain and disappointments? If you're struggling, discouraged, filled with anxiety, or losing your joy, this book provides a personal pathway and daily process to shift your focus and rediscover your purpose. In a world of 24/7 news, social media, economic uncertainty, and global instability, joy is missing from many of our lives. Ingram's exposition of Philippians 1 unlocks the key to the Apostle Paul's surpassing joy despite confinement in a Roman prison and awaiting possible execution. Chip Ingram says, choosing joy in the midst of difficulties goes against all our instincts. When you look at life through the lens of your circumstances, what happens? You're happy when circumstances are good and sad or angry when they aren't, right? But if you look at your circumstances through the lens of God's goodness, His power and promises, that's a higher perspective. You can experience joy because you know a good God is going to take even the worst and most difficult things in life and use them for your good. Living above our circumstances occurs when our perspective interprets our circumstances rather than our circumstances determining our perspective. You can't choose your life's circumstances, but you can choose how to respond. Join Chip Ingram on his journey to restore the joy Jesus longs to give you. Chip Ingram is the teaching pastor and CEO of Living on the Edge, an international teaching and discipleship ministry. A pastor for more than 30 years, Chip is the author of many books, including Holy Ambition and The Invisible War. Chip and his wife Teresa have 4 grown children and 12 grandchildren as they live in California. And that's the book I Choose Joy by Chip Ingram. Next we have What We Find in the Dark, Loss, Hope, and God's Presence in Grief, written by Aubrey Sampson and published by Nav Press. In our losses, we are bidden awake to strange darkness and surprising gifts. I wrote this book in the dark, both figuratively and factually, says Aubrey Sampson. As I wrote in the middle of the night, I came to view grief differently, as a paradoxical waking up. In grief, our eyes are blinking, adjusting, not to light, but to night. What We Find in the Dark journeys through 3 stages of fresh grief and the experience of the dark night of the soul. The onset, nightfall, the darkest hour, midnight, and the daring moments of luminosity, nightlights, that emerge only as our eyes clear just enough to notice pinpricks of hope. As Aubrey Sampson shares the painfully raw experience of losing her best friend to a terminal illness, she walks side by side with you in your own pain, offering mile markers along the dim trail and honoring your unique path as only someone who has deeply ached can do. Through these pages, your grief may not be fully released, but you will begin to experience a deep truth in your soul. You have survived. Because even when you couldn't see Him, the God of hope never left your side. And that's What We Find in the Dark by Aubrey Sampson. Next is a book called Pivot, How to Break Free from Grief, Heartbreak, Past Abuse, and Resentment, written by Debbie Chavez. Discover powerful Bible principles that will get you unstuck. People may have wounded you and circumstances may have crushed you, but you don't need to stay stuck there. Joy, peace, and purpose are within your grasp. God is holding out his hand and asking you to trust him as he leads you on a path forward toward joy, soul-deep peace, and purpose. With over 15 years of experience in leading women's ministries and teaching powerful Bible principles to women around the world, Debbie reveals how to release toxic resentment, recover from grief and heartbreak, overcome insecurity, discover subtle, destructive lies you have believed, move past a hopeless victim mindset, build healthier relationships, and forgive others the way God intends. Debbie is refreshingly transparent about her own journey through grief recovery, healing from childhood abuse, overcoming chronic insecurity, and bouncing back after being leveled by blistering curveballs in life. God longs for you to grasp hold of his hand, pivot from the pain of the past, and move forward into a future filled with hope and life-giving relationships. Give him a chance to show you what he can do to redeem your pain and bring beauty from ashes. Debbie Chavez is the founder of Squadron of Sisters, a longtime podcaster, popular YouTuber, and international speaker. And that's the book Pivot by Debbie Chavez. And the last book I have for you today is called She Delights. Cultivate a life of joy for the one who reigns and sustains. And it's written by Ellie Cardell, and it's published by Tyndale. As Christian women, we have been given a beautiful charge to delight in God and his word. But if we're honest, this is easier said than done. We find ourselves bombarded by busy schedules, overwhelmed with unexpected grief, carrying financial burdens, feeling an emptiness in our hearts and souls, and the list goes on. We genuinely want to find delight in the Lord and the life he has given us, but some days we have no idea where to start. Ellie Cardell, founder of the Daughter of Delight Ministry, would be the first to tell you that a life of delight is possible, and there is joy to be found in delighting in God's ways over our own, even when life doesn't make sense. The more you get to know God as revealed through the Bible, the more you will come to genuinely embrace and grow in your delight in the Lord. In the book She Delights, Ellie will encourage you through her personal story and unique teaching style to learn what God's delight in you actually looks like. Discover what it means to have a heart of delight for God. Explore how God's delight in you inspires, guides, and transforms your delight in him. And reflect on how a life focused on delighting in God looks different from a life centered on the world, and why that's a good thing. Let Ellie come alongside you as you are challenged, encouraged, and equipped to pursue God in every season. As you embrace the call to delight in the Lord, may you find great joy in the truth that God delights in you always. Ellie Cardell is a multi-passionate stay-at-home mom of two who finds great joy in being a mom, running her online women's ministry, Daughter of Delight, writing on the truths of God's Word, and encouraging women to keep their hearts and minds set on Christ. For more information on Daughter of Delight, you can visit the website daughterofdelight.com. And now let's recap the books I've shared with you. Ellie Cardell, the book She Delights. Cultivate a Life of Joy for the One Who Reigns and Sustains, published by Tyndale. Pivot, How to Break Free from Grief, Heartbreak, Past Abuse, and Resentment, written by Debbie Chavez. What We Find in the Dark, Loss, Hope, and God's Presence in Grief, written by Aubrey Sampson, published by Nav Press. And I Choose Joy, Change Your Perspective, Change Your Life, written by Chip Ingram and published by Moody Publishers. If you'd like more information on any of these books, you can visit the publisher's website. This has been Roberta Foster with your Author's Corner review. Join me again next time on KNEO 91.7 FM, The Word.